Showtime! Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of your favorite nerdy podcast where we talk about everything pop culture, but especially comic books, movies, and anime. Here every Wednesday at 9 p.m. going forward. So hit that like button if you're with us live or on the replay. You're watching Comic X
Weeb! Ha! Ha! Ha!
I am your co-host, James, a.k.a. Comics for Cheap, a.k.a. What If Venom Used Venmo, a.k.a. Chetty Eddie, a.k.a. Cletus Cassidy. And I got my co-host here with me.
It's your boy Chris, a.k.a. Dino. Hit me with the music. Yes, Black Santa, a.k.a. R.I.P. to Bray Wyatt. The Fireflies will always be here. We will always love and respect that man. We're going to talk a little bit about him a little bit later, but I want to make sure I said that, as well as R.I.P. to Terry Funk once again. It has just been a tough time for wrestling fans right now. It has been bad. It's been crazy. But we'll talk a little bit more about Bray later because I got a story about Bray. But again, R.I.P. to this man. Nothing but love and respect for him and to his family and friends, man. Ooh, I know you guys taking it even 10 times harder, and it just sucks. A.K.A. Super Code.
Yeah.
What? Water sponsored by nobody, because we still got no damn sponsors. But I'm telling y'all, it's coming sooner than later. I mean, hell, you never know. Next podcast, we might have one. Probably not, but you never know. It's coming sooner than later, but that's what we are.
That's right. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us, talking some shenanigans, talking crazy about just everything pop culture related, everything comic related, anime related. We like to hear it all. Hit us with those comments, and we'll always get to you, I promise. But yeah, so this week we're gonna kick it off as usual with a little bit of sports talk. And Chris, take it away.
All right, man. So I want to at least start this one off with something that's a little interesting, because we was talking about last week, kind of to finish that off, actually, kind of a little bit of an update. We was talking about contracts last week, weren't we, James? Yes, and we was talking about mainly specifically the running backs situation and how badly they're getting paid and what potentially can be done and blah 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 and this and that. And then what happened, James? Because you hit me up with something that was interesting.
I hit you up with it, yeah, and I want to bring it up because so I read it so it's correct. I saw it come across my feed and I was like, dang, this is like exactly what we were talking about. So Josh Jacobs with Vegas, right? He's with Vegas.
Las Vegas Raiders.
Las Vegas. That's right. So he just signed an $11.8 million, which includes $200,000 in incentives. So a $12 million total 1 year contract to continue playing with the Raiders. So interesting because it's a 1 year contract.
Yep.
It's a large amount of money, not as large as I think they were trying to get, but large with incentives as far as the pay wise goes. And it's almost identical to what we were talking about with what I thought would be a solution for offering if running backs want these huge contracts. Just give them a 1 year with incentive based, just big contracts. My only thing was have an injury clause. I don't know if his has anything injury-wise in it.
I'm pretty sure it don't, but yeah.
Okay. But, I mean, there you go. It seems like that's it right there.
Because of the fact that it's a 1 year deal, the running back is, and plus, it has the incentives and this and that. It's not going to – those contracts don't usually have any type – because the NFL can, cut you and then – The only thing they really owe you is basically your signing bonus or whatever the guaranteed money actually was. Outside of that, the rest of it, they don't have to give you any of it. They'll take a salary cap hit, but because of that kind of stuff, they don't usually have a injury clause. That's why when the quarterback, porn star Jimmy Garoppolo, when he signed his contract, I forgot what team he signed it with, but his recent contract, there was an injury clause in there, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, he actually has an injury clause in there," and that's why that was such a big deal because NFL teams usually don't do that, especially for the quarterback like that. But they knew he would get hurt, and I'm pretty sure he did end up suffering an injury that he has to deal with before the season even started. So I don't even know if they cut him or whatever's happening with him. I don't even remember. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure he don't have an injury clause whatsoever. But it's still looked at. I mean, it's looked at definitely as a bad contract. It sets the running backs back because it's similar to what Saquon Barkley signed with the Giants. It's basically the same thing, and that was the franchise tag. He ended up still signing the franchise tag after saying he would sit out, but he didn't because he was like, I'm just not going to sit out. I'm not going to win. So he ended up coming back and signed the franchise tag. And right now, with Taylor from the Colts, he's still looking for a trade. He's still trying to see if he can find a trade. Will he get one? I doubt it. I really think he's just going to be with the Colts because the Colts are like, yeah, if you want him, you have to like give us a first round pick. And I think at least the only team I know for sure who was looking into it was the Miami Dolphins. Now I will say, if he gets to the Dolphins, man, that offense, I think that's the best pure offense in the league. If he gets there, come on,
damn, that would be a stacked offense.
Yes, you got that running back. The O-line's decent enough. Man, that's so many weapons. That's a stacked offense right there. You don't know who's going to kill you.
That would be pretty beastly. Yeah, you could hit him with as
long
long as like Tua stayed healthy.
Yeah,
it would be unbelievable.
Ooh, it would be.
Yeah.
It would be. So. But I don't think but the thing is, like, giving up a first round pick for a running back is just a terrible idea. Because again, this ain't like in the NBA where players are the biggest parts of trades. No. Picks are the biggest parts of trade in the NFL. Yeah. So because of that, it would be really kind of dumb for them to give a first round pick for him, considering as of right now, he is technically on the injury, like basically reserve list in a way, because he's suffering from like some back injury, a back injury. So that's concerning right there too.
Give up a first round pick for 2025, so in 2 years, and then next year trade a bum, not a bum, you know what I mean, but trade someone for to get your first round pick back to another team.
I mean, hey, if you could figure something out like that, why not, right? But
you got 2 years to figure it out.
I'm thinking about it. I am thinking about it, man. Because a lot of people are thinking he's not necessarily faking his injury, but it's not as bad is what is coming out because he's trying to get, he's basically like, I'm gonna say I'm hurt, and a back injury is exactly. There's certain injuries that you can come out with, and a back injury is a really good one, that you can come out with where it's hard to really diagnose it completely. Where it's like, well, I'm suffering from this kind of pain, and it's hard to be like, well, he's not telling the truth. He has something there. So it's like, yeah, I'm telling the truth, so I'm not going to play.
Yeah.
And it's like,
sneaky. I like it. I like it. Sneaky.
All right, we can't completely prove that you're lying, so we're not going to punish you. We're just going to basically, you're still going to get paid for whatever your guaranteed is, and we're just going to go from there. You're just not going to play. So that's what a lot of people thinking he's using that to an advantage so he doesn't have to play and doesn't have to completely like do what, God, I forgot that running back from the Pittsburgh Steelers who did it. It was terrible. It was dumb when he did it. I can't remember his name, but he was a really good running back from the Steelers. And
Bettis?
Who? No, not Bennis. It wasn't the bus. It wasn't Jerome Bennis. It was another guy. It was basically around Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger playing time. I forgot his name, but he ended up going to the Jets. But anyway, he set out a whole year because he wanted to get paid. And the Steelers was like, we're not giving you that money. He set out the whole year. It ended his career, basically. It ruined his career. It was stupid for him to do it, and it didn't pay off. He went to the Jets. He got paid a little something, and then he was a bum. And the Jets ended up releasing him. So it just ruined his whole career. Taking that year off really wasn't smart, and he went straight in there when the Jets paid him, and the injuries piled up. His body wasn't right. He wasn't ready. He didn't train the way he needed to. It ruined his career. It was a bad move.
Right.
So he's trying to, running backs have not done that since. Like I said, Saquon threatened it, but he didn't do it.
Right.
So I don't know. I hope Taylor can figure this out, get his money, but I don't think he's going to go I don't think he's going to Miami. If I am Miami, I'm thinking about it. Like I said, I just don't know if it's going to happen. I think he's going to end up playing for the Colts this season. That's what I think.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, he's running out of time. I mean, he's got like 10 days to figure it out, really. But we will see. But yeah, I was pretty excited to see the contract after we had just talked about it this last week. I wanted to briefly touch on, because a lot of stuff is coming out right now with the UFC, the NFL, and the NBA, and they are seeking to update or change laws that are in place right now with the government to help stop the pirating of their content, basically.
Okay.
So obviously, this was, I think, back when Bill Clinton was president. So we're talking back like 1998-ish. He signed into a law into effect, basically, that says that with the internet and everything, that anything that's copyright content from these major sports industries will be taken down. Forgot the exact verbiage of it, but basically it would be taken down as fast as possible.
Yeah, no doubt.
But back then, internet was still very new, very young.
Yeah.
They didn't know that we would be able to live stream games off of YouTube straight through a channel. And then whoever subscribed to that channel can just watch whatever it is that you're watching kind of indirectly. And it's hard to catch if you distort the audio or have other things running through it or whatever.
And then they make sure they have their channel is basically a dummy channel. So if you bring it down, that's fine. They already have another one ready to go when it's time. And I love how they would do it. Where because there was a couple of NBA Finals games where when it's exactly happening right then and there, it was on that channel. And then after it was basically hey, watch it until the game's over, because they're not going to get me before the game's over. But when it's over, hey, it's going to be gone soon.
Right.
It was basically that.
And I think the number that they were saying that they're losing, which I'm sure that they are exaggerating slightly, but it could be close. But it was something, I think it was in the $20 billion range. 25 billion, somewhere around in that area. 28 billion is what they said.
Okay.
They're claiming 28 billion.
Making, that's kind of I don't know. You guys make a whole lot. So I don't know. You're probably exaggerating a little bit, but you're right. Yeah.
They say the global sports industry is losing up to $28 billion in additional potential annual revenue because of the piracy that is happening with the live streaming and people losing out on the pay-per-view, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Now, do you think here's where it's going to be very tricky for them to fix this, because as soon as you figure out a way to stop one thing, they're going to figure out a way to do it differently.
Bingo. Yeah.
So you're fighting a losing battle here.
You are.
I feel like you're just going to be wasting time and resources chasing a ghost.
With the way technology is and the way how smart these guys are online, you're fighting a losing battle.
Yeah. So while I can understand the frustration of losing 28 billion, which you don't lose if you never see it, of losing out on a potential $28 billion a year.
Yes.
I kind of think you just have to chalk it up to that, a small cost of doing business, because you got to you still have people excited about whatever they're watching.
Yeah.
They're there. They're in it. They're still, they're still gonna be talking about the game the next week at work or the fight, whatever with their friends, and they have to pay themselves for viewing it the way they're viewing it. Obviously, they're not getting the high definition on their television, whatever type stream. They're watching it on, computer, laptop, whatever, through another channel, through another whatever. So it's like probably not. I don't know. I've never watched one of these pirated streams, but it's probably not going to be the same quality, right? So, yeah. I mean, it's one of those, like, I don't know. I feel like you're hitting your target audience, you're getting paid good money, and you're going to be chasing and wasting money trying to shut down or figure out a way to shut down these streaming piracy things that are just going to pop back up in a different way. They're going to find another way to do it.
I agree with you because, like, I was trying to remember because I remember it was me, our boy Dakota, a guy we work with, Dave, his wife, Brooke or whatever, and we went to his house and we watched one of the wrestling events. I believe it was either Money in the Bank. It might not have been Money, but it was Survivor Series or Royal Rumble. I think it was Survivor Series. But anyway, this was a while back, and I'm pretty sure this was on Day's network, or I can't remember if it was a pay-per-view or not. I just cannot remember. I'm gonna have to ask him something if he remembers. But the point is, we watched it, enjoyed it. But there's so many times, like literally recently, I can say honestly, after the last pay-per-view that just happened, or I guess the premium live event, after the show's over, you can catch that crap on YouTube. Like I was saying, there'll be a guy who has streamed that thing and popped that stuff on the channel, and you're watching it now for free, and it'll be up for a couple of hours. I don't know how they stop that. Like you said, how do you really stop that when these guys know how to continuously do it? And again, this channel is not meant to sustain or for them to make money off of it. They know it's going to get shut down. They know it's going to get flagged eventually, but you're still going to be able to watch match to match to match to match. They're not going to catch it in time. And it's not like it's just one person. It's multiple channels doing it. So it's like, how are you going to get all of them instantly like that? It's impossible.
It's multiple channels doing it.
Have to do to keep people from like watching every single channel now all the time on YouTube. You're going to have to pay them. That's a lot of work. You're probably going to lose money trying to do that.
Bingo. And it's not just YouTube. It's Twitch. It's not just YouTube. It's Reddit. It's Twitter. Twitch. It's Facebook. It's anything that has any kind of live streaming system built into it. Instagram, whatever. Yeah. It's going to be like, it's there. That's where you can't shut them all down all at once. There's no algorithm that you can build to stop a live event happening because the algorithm doesn't know what to look for.
No, they don't.
They might know what to listen for, but again, that's why you distort the audio or mute the audio or whatever you're doing.
That's exactly what a lot of them do. They distort it by the match will be going perfectly fine. Then at a moment here, it'll cut back a little bit or fast forward a tiny bit, then come back. So they're distorting it and messing things up, but you're still getting the full process of what you're still getting the whole thing. And you're still getting the full thing of it. It's just they know what they're doing. Like you said, how are you going to get all of them? It's impossible.
Right.
It's impossible.
Definitely.
So, like you said, I think they're just gonna have to chalk it up as an L, unfortunately, or not even necessarily an L, because it's not like it's something they can really prevent. It's just you have to chalk it up as like we can't stop this. Right. Like I love how back in the in '98 and '99 and 2000, I know you remember. Anytime you're watching like any of the sports events, at least one of the commercials would be like a pirated commercial, like this hardcore 90s pirated commercial, why you should do it. They have the FBI agents knocking down your door and shit.
Yep, shooting you over your keyboard. Yeah,
that was awesome.
Putting 3 in the back of your head like it's fucking like a terrorist cell has just been invaded.
Craziest stuff, and it just be at the end, don't pirate it, it's wrong. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Did y'all just kill that man?
Yeah. Oh my God. Was that a baby you just shot? Oh my God.
Just snap that baby's neck for looking at the TV? Like, what just happened here?
What? Holy shit.
Don't pirate.
They're getting serious.
They get real serious. FBI come and snap your baby's neck.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. I know you had something you said you wanted to talk about baseball wise. And then I think we're done with the sports segment.
No, I'm gonna get to the baseball next week. I'm gonna get to the
baseball.
next
week. You're okay.
We're gonna hold that off this week. I'm gonna get to it next week.
All right, cool. Let's jump into our, Ahsoka is still happening. So the new episodes every Tuesday. So last night the third episode dropped, and it continues to be very, very meh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it. Yesterday or last night's episode felt like it was only like 20 minutes long. Like it was so short.
Like, what, an hour?
No, I mean it's supposed to be an hour, but I'm pretty sure it was like maybe 35 or 40 minutes before the credits started. Yeah. So it was a shorter episode, and it was just like I don't know, dude. Like it was not even really that memorable. Like I just watched it last night, and it's just like, yeah, I mean that, like, some things happen. Ahsoka jumping around. Ahsoka took down a fighter jet or whatever just by herself, not even in a jet. So there was that. That was like the peak of the action, I guess, of the episode.
I mean, and to be honest with you, that's not even really impressive because there's a bunch of other Jedis who've done that.
Yeah.
So that's not even like oh my God, that's such a crazy feat. Not really.
Right.
You just joined the club. Good for you.
So I don't know. She's trying to train her Padawan, who is of Mandalorian descent. So I'm sure they're trying to join all those worlds together. But obviously, like they keep saying how like this Padawan is like the least force sensitive Jedi ever to attempt the Jedi training. So basically, like, she sucks, is what they just keep saying. But Ahsoka's like, oh, don't worry. We're unconventional. We're just a ragtag team.
Yeah, that kind of stupid bullshit, yeah. I'm sorry. I never found Ahsoka that interesting.
Paddle the Padawan, says Street Food. What's up, Norm? How you doing, bud?
What's up, brother? I just never found her really that interesting either. So it's just like, I mean...
I think everyone's waiting for that flashback scene because they're going to get the Anakin and Ahsoka together scene that they've been pining for. But isn't that such a
problem, though? Is that's what everybody's waiting for? Again, Vader. Again.
Yep.
Vader.
That's what we've said. We've said it so many times.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing you're going to always run across when you're not going with new actual creative content. You're going with the same old shit. Like, I don't need an Ahsoka story. I don't need a storyline with her because at the end of the day, it's only thing I'm gonna be sitting there wondering, man, when is Anakin and Vader gonna show up? When is maybe Luke might show up? Like, I'm more interested in other people than her. It's better if you would have picked a new chick from a different timeline, and that would have been more interesting because now you're not only building her, you're building the world. And now you're seeing what's interesting about this world compared to the universe of the Vader timeline or whatever you're looking at. But no, we're not getting that. We're getting more Vader shit. Enough.
Right.
Enough.
Norm says people will watch it. They have topless aliens. Disney Max. Disney Max.
I mean, hey, man, you watch anything with some topless aliens, right?
I don't know, man. It's just like, I mean, I'll watch the next episode and hopefully it'll get a little bit better. But like, I'm honestly like, I don't even know if I want to watch the next one.
So if the next one is pretty much like this, are you gonna keep watching the series?
Probably not. I'll probably just end it.
I mean, it gets to the point where it's like enough's enough. You know, you don't want to waste now becomes you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
So I mean,
honestly,
yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. So Ahsoka, Star Wars. Maybe some other people are enjoying it a lot. I don't know. So far for me, it has been very lackluster. I thought it was going to be like some really cool Jedi versus Sith moments, but so far, not so much. Slight spoilers for if you haven't watched like the first episode or whatever. But Ahsoka's Padawan gets her ass kicked, pretty good. And and it was like it's not even a fight. It's not even they're not even trying. Like the Sith are just fucking mollywhopping them.
Right.
And Ahsoka can put up like she can stand her own, you know, when she's going against them. But anyone else is just like it's not even close.
Right.
So I don't. I mean, that part of it's kind of boring, and they cut it down. It was really quick fights too. Like the 2 fights that have happened so far, very fast, very fast. So I don't know if they were just kind of, you know, baiting us a little bit with the trailer, which of course they probably were. But
of course, yeah, that's a lot of
yeah.
that stuff. A lot of times baiting.
But yeah, I don't know. It's not quite for me, I guess.
And then of course, when you got somebody who you gotta basically that person isn't up to snuff and you're protecting them too, it puts you in a bad spot.
Hmm.
Oh,
Vinyl Dragon's in the house. He says, "Breaking news: the dragon has arrived."
He has arrived. Breaking news. I'm still waiting for main event Rob to show up. Still waiting for my boy to show up. But
Rob.
still waiting for main event Rob. But yeah. So because and another thing, what's interesting about that too, that concept is like when in the future Trunks timeline, when Gohan and Trunks was fighting against the androids. Gohan had to spend a lot of time looking after Trunks while he's fighting 18, while he's trying to fight 17, because he knew Trunks would lose and he would die. So he's like, shit, now I got it. And it end up eventually costing Gohan his arm. And then when he could have ate a sensu bean to get his arm back, he gave it to Trunks so Trunks wouldn't die. And it was like the last one they had or whatever. So it's shit like that. You're trying to make sure the other one, and I'm assuming Ahsoka and her Padawan was together.
No.
Okay, so if they was together, though, Ahsoka would have had to protect her and fight the other two, and it probably would have cost her life.
Yeah.
If that, you know, definitely if they was like, well, if she's that trash, you use that for you know, to your advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, this person's gonna make a mistake trying to save this fool.
Well, she's definitely trash, like 100% trash.
Yeah. So
like straight out the gutter trash. You know?
Damn. All right, James. Yeah.
No. I'm just saying, she's definitely trash.
Okay. I got it.
Like the fucking even the droid was like roasting her, which was that was probably the funniest part. Was the droid was like, "Bro, you're like the worst Jedi ever. There has never." They're like they would have turned you away if the Jedi Order was still around. They would have said no, thank you.
Well, I mean, but with that kind of story, you're telling us how it's going to end, though. You're basically telling us she's going to become powerful.
Is she going to be powerful?
Yeah, I'm going to call it. I'm going to say she's going to become powerful. Yeah, I'm going to say she's probably going to become pretty fucking strong.
Street
by
Food
either the end of the
droid
series or there's going to be something later on. She's going to become strong. I'm going to flat out call it. She's going to become strong. Yeah.
Just out of nowhere, just like the most powerful.
I ain't saying she's going to be the most powerful because remind me again. Does this takes place after Luke's death in the main timeline or before?
This is after 6, so after New Hope.
Okay, so this is right when Luke's basically in his prime, then, right?
I think so.
So if that's the case, then no, she's not. Like Luke was like OP as shit. So unless they changed a whole bunch of that, Luke will definitely be the strongest one around. But no, I think she's going to become really powerful. And it's either going to be two things. Either she's going to end up eventually becoming on a dark side, and she's going to, like, Ahsoka's going to have to kill her, or she's going to go after Ahsoka, or she's just going to become a really powerful Jedi. I don't think she's going to stay trash. I don't think she's going to. Like,
yeah, I'm
sorry, I'm going to be honest with you. Star Wars writing is pretty simple. It's not complex whatsoever.
Right.
So, I mean, that's literally the story they usually tell over and over and over. So, I'm pretty sure it's the same story.
So,
Star Wars fans who's upset about that, I'm sorry. Your show's not complex. And to be fair, we all know I'm a giant Dragon Ball fan. Dragon Ball story isn't complex. I'm not no bias. I'm just saying your story's easy as shit to tell what's going to happen. I've never went to a Star Wars thing and was like, oh my God, I can't tell what's going to really happen. It's going to be the same shit.
So Ahsoka comes.
Cool. I'm just saying, it's not complex.
After. Oh no, okay. Yeah, so I was right. Yeah, so Ahsoka's after the the movies. So it's basically Return of the Jedi.
It's not for the newer ones. It's just after the original.
It's
like
not,
6.
yeah, not after like the newest Disney trilogy. It's after, Return of the Jedi. So then after Return of the Jedi is the Mandalorian / the Book of Boba / Ahsoka.
Okay, so yeah, Luke should be the most powerful motherfucker there. Like Luke was really powerful. So yeah, he should be basically the one with the most potential and power there.
Yes. So final, yes, you are correct. After Return of the Jedi, yes. So there you go. So if you're calling it that this little short-haired, purple-haired chick is going to be bro, what if she turns Sith? That would be a twist.
That's what I'm saying. She could and it could lead to Ahsoka having to kill her. That could be interesting. But I think that girl, either way, even if that happens, I'm sure she's gonna get powerful. She's not gonna be I don't think she's gonna stay weak for long. And it's gonna be like a potential thing. Like I think her potential is probably really, really high.
Kills Ahsoka in her sleep. End of show.
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of what Lord Sidious did to his master. He killed that motherfucker in his sleep.
Have you ever heard the story of Darth
in your sleep, bro?
It's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
In your sleep, I'll take your shit.
Everyone else in that box, when Anakin's like, "Is it possible to learn these powers?" They're like, "Yeah, is it possible to learn these powers?" Palpatine is telling all the secrets.
Right.
Like, hey, wait a minute. This sounds like something I would like. I've always thought that scene is so funny. Where you're just like, because when he turns to look at Anakin when they're sitting in that box or whatever, like the look that on his face is just like the most hilarious shit. Where he's like,
right, yeah.
Oh shit. All right, let's move on from there.
Let me talk about Bray real quick before we go to the next.
Let's do it.
So again, we had unfortunately Day-Day's Bray Wyatt. He ended up passing away. Talked about it on my Instagram a little bit, but a little quick Bray story. I was at a live event a few years ago, and I end up running into Bray. And my favorite wrestler. I remember I asked this question before because somebody asked me. My favorite wrestler of all time is Randy Orton, but Bray Wyatt, I met him. I never actually met Randy. I would love to meet Randy Orton, but I never met him. But I met Bray, and Bray was like one of the nicest people I've ever talked to. He was super nice. He was engaged. He wasn't like some asshole, because there's a lot of wrestlers who are flat out assholes. Really? I've heard tons of bad stories about like Sasha Banks. Not saying she's an asshole in real life. I'm saying I've heard a lot of bad stories about her. A lot of fans says meeting her was like the worst thing they ever met, because she would like basically like, yo, get out of my face. And a lot of wrestlers was like that. And to be fair, there is a timing when you meet a wrestler. And to be fair on Sasha too, when she's trying to get to her hotel and she's being bombarded with like, sign this and sign that. Not all the time after getting off this long flight, they're going to be in a good mood. So there is timing on sometimes they might not be as nice, but I love and respect the ones who, no matter what's going on, they show more. They're not like a complete asshole to you. They show decency. They show niceness. They show kindness. Even if it's not like, I can't sit here and sign everything, they're still like, not like, get the fuck out of my face, asshole, or something like that.
Right.
And I've heard nothing but good stories about Bray from those kind of moments. And when I talked and met Bray, he was super nice and super cool. And I've always been a fan of Bray, because Bray Wyatt, if you can kind of say was maybe his, not necessarily flaw, but he was so smart and so ahead of the game in the business. And he was so creative that can be a detriment to him sometimes. And there was some times where he butt head with writers and butt head with, the company, because he didn't want his character to go a certain way. And he wasn't always as, not say hard to work with, because that's not necessarily the case, but he knew what his vision he wanted it to be. But he was always so creative when he was the cult leader, Bray Wyatt, when he became Bray Wyatt the Fiend, and when he came back now and the whole Uncle Howdy stuff that was going on. All the stuff was always creative and interesting. And you can tell he freaking loved the business. And I love wrestlers who do love the business, because you're going to get their all and their best performances when you see them out there. And Bray gave you his best. He gave you his all, and he was always creative, and he just enjoyed the fact that a lot of people love this stuff. And, he always wanted to get better and better and better. So he ended up getting sick around WrestleMania time. And the first rumor was, well, it's another Bray Wyatt issue where he's fighting heads with, button heads with the creative. And it came out shortly afterwards, no, he's suffering from a real illness. They just never disclosed what it was. So his WrestleMania match against Bobby Lashley, another big fan of him. Love Bobby. He's a great wrestler. And that never happened. So all this time kept going on. And then literally like a couple of weeks ago, they was like, Bray's about to make his return. He's much healthier. His return will be really soon. Some was even thinking it might be at the next pay-per-view. That's about a live premium, live event, whatever you want to call it. That's about to happen now. It was coming really, really soon. And then out of nowhere, he passed. And then it was like, apparently he got, again, this is what has been rumored out. Not for sure. This is what has been stated. That he got COVID around WrestleMania. And he had like a heart condition, so it made it worse.
Damn.
And then apparently everything was getting better. He looked really good. Everything looked great. I heard a wrestler was like, hey, I just talked to him. Everything's looking good. And then he just died, apparently, of a heart attack. And they're saying it kind of had to do with the illness he ended up getting when he got COVID. Unfortunately, that heart issue, it just happened. He had a heart attack.
Yeah.
It's just crazy and hard to believe, and it's sad, and it's just, man, I was like, damn, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe. It was one of those moments again where it's like, all right, there's got to be some bullshit. Like, we just was hearing the dude's in great shape. He's about to make his return. We're all looking forward to what he's gonna do, and get this Uncle Howdy stuff going. Is he going after Bobby? What is he gonna do? What's his next big story? Is he gonna go after Reigns? What's gonna happen? And then he just died. Like, come on, no, that was true. Again, I want to say, man, nothing but condolences, friends and family. It's just sad to hear. It was heartbreaking, honestly. Again, I'm gonna always be a big Bray Wyatt fan. Always gonna miss the guy on television. Just miss the guy in real life. He had a wife and kids. I'm not for sure if him and JoJo are currently married now. I don't think they was married, but they was engaged. But he has kids with his previous wife and his current girlfriend JoJo. They had their children. And, we're losing a guy we love watching and this and that as fans, but they lost their father.
Yeah.
And that's 10 times harder, 10 times worse. It's the worst thing they could probably ever imagine. JoJo loses her soon-to-be husband, basically her husband. They lost so much. So I know this ain't going to hit so many people, but the message I always want to say is please give those guys their privacy. Because I know I've read a lot of things where they're like, man, we should go to their house, and don't do that. Like, give these guys their privacy. And even if it never comes out exactly what happened to Bray, that's not our business. That is their business. That is the family's business. JoJo never have to tell us what actually happened. It's just give them their privacy. It just hurts to hear. Again, I'm somewhat rambling, but it's just I don't know how to put it in the best of words. Hopefully I did a decent enough job. It just sucks.
Yeah. Definitely tough. Vinyl chirps in and says, not exactly related, but I'm still haunted with the visual when Owen Wilson fell from the ceiling. I remember all of us just looked at each other in the room in such disbelief as to what had happened. What? Owen Wilson? What are you talking about?
I don't know if he's talking about. I don't know if he's talking about wrestling. If he's talking about wrestling and he's talking about Owen Hart, then yes, I do remember that one was obviously horrible. Where he fell from the ceiling of an event and he landed into the ring and obviously died. And that was just what just happened. And this happens on a live event. Like, this is a pay-per-view happening. So this was like they had to cut away quickly. And what's so sad about it was on Hart. Okay. What was so sad about that, too, what makes it so crazy about that one, when he's falling, the one thing going through his mind, apparently, was him telling everybody to get out the way. He was still trying to make sure he didn't hit anybody.
Dang.
And that was just one of the craziest things that people, like, they was talking about. They're hearing this dude saying, get out the way, please move. and that's what he's still trying to do before he died. That was horrible. And then like some of the wrestlers who like Jeff Jarrett was really close to him, he had to go out there and perform. And like these guys are still wrestling afterwards. That just happened. They're rolling this guy out, and it's like the show continues. That's why there was a big argument. Should the show have ended or should the show have continued? And I'm be honest with you, I don't know which side to go with. Vince went with the side of it continuing, and you know it happened, but I don't know. I can see both sides. I can legitimately see both sides.
Yeah, I can definitely see ending the show.
I can see that too. Just flat out ending it. You're gonna have to do refunds. I get that, but I can see that happening. I can see that side too. I can see both sides though, and yeah. I mean, it sucked. That was just horrible though. That was man, that was terrible. Woo.
Right. All right. Oh, do we got one more? We do got one more comment. Vinyl says the other thing that kept in my mind was China did a signing here in Charlotte the day before she passed away. Then I met King Jerry Lawler at a con the day before his son passed away.
Oh man, those were two really bad ones. With China, she had so many. It really all started. Her downfall started because she was dating Paul Levesque, Triple H, one of my favorite wrestlers. Oh man, I love the game. She was dating him, and then Triple H dumped her for Stephanie McMahon. And they always make the jokes of, Triple H's career really popped up when he married the daughter of Vince. You know, he married the boss's daughter. Well, that's not true. Triple H was already a champion. Triple H, before he even hooked up with Stephanie, was already talking to Vince about, you know, getting more into the writing parts of things and this and that. So that's not necessarily true. Not saying it hurt now, but he was already a top guy way before he hooked up with Stephanie. So I always hated him.
Right.
But anyway, when that happened, China's life went to a downhill because not only does now all of a sudden, oh crap, the man she thought she was going to really spend her life with just leaves her for another woman in the company. It's the boss's daughter. According to China, she also said she was shortly fired when she was at like a store. I think it was like a Waffle House, basically, IHOP or something. And she got like an email from them. Like they was like, are you like you said her real name, whatever. And he was like, yeah. And she got like an email basically saying she's been fired. The point is, it led to bad things. She ended up going into porn, which she said she regrets deeply. But she ended up going into porn. She just did a lot of bad and stupid things, and she got hooked on drugs, unfortunately. And her life just went down, down, down. And then when it looked like it was somewhat going back together, because I remember seeing a video with her, and it was kind of a sad video because she was talking about how she's getting her life back and how she's going to be like a teacher in China, in Japan or something. And she seemed super excited about it, but it was still kind of sad when you look at her and you're like, man, you can still see she's struggling a little bit. And then she died like a day or two later after that video. And I was like, damn. And then really quick on Jerry Lawler, his son, who performed under his Grandmaster Sexy, real name was Christopher Lawler. He got hooked on drugs really bad. He never was able to get out of his father's shadow, and it got downhill. And I think he killed himself.
Damn.
He either killed himself or he overdosed. I think he overdosed, but it was basically like obviously like kind of his fault. I think he overdosed or he killed himself, one of the two. Either way, it was such a sad situation. That was sad too, because I enjoyed him in Too Cool, him, Rikishi, Scotty Too Hottie. It was always fun. He seemed to have a good time, but you can always see he was struggling with stuff. And then it got really, really bad when, you know, he left WWE. It got real bad, and they had one of the most awkward storylines ever when they brought him back for a segment for him to like kind of go off on his dad. And it was so sad, and the fans did not react at all. They was confused and like felt bad, and it should have never happened. Jerry Lawler was pissed because he didn't fully know this was going to happen, and he was pissed about it, and it was a bad segment. And his son ended up dying pretty shortly after that. It was a sad though. It was a really bad situation. So RIP to them too, because it was just sad and man, just terrible, man.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Quit doing drugs, people. God damn.
Yeah,
Smoke
that's
some
true,
weed.
man. God knows. Don't do it, man. God,
It's
don't do
crazy.
it.
It's
Hmm.
crazy. All right, let's move on
Yeah.
to something a little bit lighter.
Yes.
Uh, this is going to be like a little discussion point, and I invite whoever's in the chat to also contribute, please. But recently, within the last couple of days, Tom Hanks stated in an interview or just something that he wanted to be in a superhero movie at some point, and he
I remember
was
hearing that.
surprised or whatever that he had not been given a superhero movie role up to this point. So, with that being said, what would we cast Tom Hanks as?
I got it. Forrest Gump. Bam.
Jay Garrick?
Guess we didn't like my Forrest Gump one.
I mean, Jay Garrick runs, Forrest Gump runs, shit.
No, I'm with you. That's actually a good question. What would you cast him for now? Cause shoot, how old is he now?
How old is Tom?
Yeah,
I don't know. Let's see. Tom Hanks' age. Tom Hanks is currently 67 years old.
67. Okay. And to be
He's
fair,
he's getting up there.
you could have still cast him before he hit 67, obviously. Still trying to at least say maybe 10 years ago in his 50s.
Final says, wait, we got to bring up James working on them guns to wrestle at the Greensboro Con. That's right. Working on the guns, baby. But I'm not going to be at Greensboro this year or ever again. Just doesn't make enough money for me. So I've actually scrapped that one from my circuit. So
unfortunately.
yeah, unfortunately. It was a fun show, but I'm not here to have fun. I'm here to make a little bit of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it just there
A
were
business
several
decision on that one.
it was definitely a tough business decision for me because like I said, I had fun while I was there, but I just wasn't making money. So it's tough. It's expensive table price. He charges a lot for admission for people coming in the door, so you don't get a big crowd, and it's a small venue, and it's loud and obnoxious, and the wrestlers, like if you're not into that whole scene, if you're just going to be like at a Comic-Con, you're in this small room with a DJ that's playing some loud music and wrestlers every 2 hours,
Right.
I'd be like, what the hell is going on? So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not doing that one.
that's fair. I still can't think of a really good role to put him as, honestly. And that's kind of tough.
Final Dragon says, what if they cast Tom Hanks as the Living Tribunals?
Ah, ah.
I had a couple ideas. One being if he was Jonathan Kent in the new Superman, whatever. I think he'd be okay with Superman's dad.
That's actually a really good one.
So Jonathan Kent.
Yeah, I think he can do that.
And then the other one that I thought would be pretty decent, just because of his voice, and he's very well known for voice acting. Scarface / ventriloquist in a Batman movie. Because I mean, age really don't matter there, because ventriloquist is an old man, and then he's got voice acting range, so he could throw his voice or whatever for Scarface.
Yeah, I like the ventriloquist, and I do like. I definitely like the Superman father role. That one will be really good. Yeah, that one will be pretty good. I can see him. Yeah, I can see him being old Superman's pops.
Vinyl says he would probably be better as Commissioner Gordon. That's a good one. Commissioner
That's
Gordon's
not a bad one either.
That's not
That's
a
not
bad
a
one at
bad
all.
one. No. That's him playing like more of an older, either father figure or like cop role. Those are not bad roles at all.
Not at all. Vinyl Dragon also says, "Oh no, shut, bro. that guy who kept getting on the megaphone every few minutes. You were sending me the clips. Oh yeah, dude. Well, I ain't going back to that one either. I did send him video recordings of like, because this dude was fucking every like 2 or 3 minutes he was making the same announcements. I have never ever been to a Comic-Con where that it was that much of a problem. Like all the vendors wanted to kill this guy. Just like it was that crazy. But it was like every few minutes he was making the same. It was like, bro, we just heard you.
Right?
Shit.
Like we got it. We understand.
Yeah. But that dude was driving me nuts. And he wouldn't just like make, like Vinyl will attest to it. He wouldn't just like he would like ramble on with his announcement. So each announcement was like 20 seconds to 30 seconds long of him just like blah 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 blah. And then 3 minutes later, throw chair. 3 minutes later, he's making the same announcement. It's like, bro, we just heard you for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that one ever again, too. Trust.
That's fair. And smart.
Just for my sanity.
Yeah, for real. Because I would have been like, all right, bro, we got you, bro. We got it. We understand.
Yeah, we were like trying to find where this guy was to disconnect his microphone.
For real, man. Like, all right, enough to know. I'm not coming back here, so you kicking me out doesn't even matter. just need to stop. But no, those are some good ones, man. Those are some really good ones because those are some solid ones. He can probably do that. So that definitely would have been some good roles to put him in.
Honestly, I think if Tom Hanks wanted a role that badly, he could have gotten something. I mean, he's Tom fucking Hanks. Yeah,
if he would have went there and, definitely if he would have talked to Robbie Downey Jr. and been like, hey, what can I get, Probably would have talked to somebody and been like, yo, Tom Hanks wants to be in something. Let's put him in something.
Yeah. Street Food says that Tom Hanks could be Spider-Man's boss, J. Jonah Jameson. You mean Peter's boss, J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
But J.K. Simmons does such a fucking phenomenal job as J. Jonah Jameson. It would be hard to top his performance.
No, that's why I didn't want to say him because that's not necessarily bad, but I was like, we got our JJ.
Yeah, it would be really tough. I mean, he would probably do a good job, but it'd just be so tough to compare against the legendary J.K. Simmons.
Because I mean, come on, it was a pop when that dude showed up at the end of the Spider-Man movie. And he was on the big stream in New York. It was like, oh shit! That was huge.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that was something I didn't see that one. I was like, oh shit, oh my god, that was cool.
Right. Vinyl Dragon says you could give him the role as a new version of the Lizard. That way he could play the scientist and the villain. You talking about comics?
The age is the issue. The age is the issue. The Lizard he can't be that old.
The Lizard's all CGI no matter what.
The Lizard doesn't matter, but Dr. Connor does matter.
Okay.
Because he's not that old. He's not that old. So that would be my issue there.
Right. Okay. I see that. Okay. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting point. If just to talk about it. If you got any other ideas, please feel free to comment them. The next talking point I got for us is Secret Invasion director Ali Selim. I don't know how to pronounce the name. But basically, the Secret Invasion director blames all the poor reviews of the show on too high of expectations from Marvel fans. What do we got to say about that?
What did you think? Did you not understand how that story happened and what it led to and what it was to the fans? They were supposed to come in there and think it was going to suck. You're an idiot. That's what I think of that. They was going to have high expectations. I mean, there's a lot of people who love that story. There's some who hate it, but come on. That story was still big, and it still led to things afterwards. Hell, even still things now. The biggest issue is y'all didn't have the people to actually do the story right. there was a bunch of characters y'all don't have currently in the MCU.
And
no, but that's not the fans' fault.
Really,
you just shouldn't have did the damn story right now.
On the story to begin with, I feel like there were almost no parallels besides the general concept.
Right.
General concept that this alien invasion has happened,
right?
And the title Secret Invasion.
Right.
I'd say those are the only two real similarities.
That's still their fault, though. That's not the fans' fault.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like,
right.
Because otherwise it was just a completely foreign, brand new, boring ass series.
You wasted Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes. And I still didn't even finish watching it. I still don't know how that shit ends. So fuck that shit, bro. But yeah, like,
it was funny. I think it was Rhino who sent me a video of his cat even walking away from that garbage.
And Secret Invasion ain't getting no pussy.
No pussy. Even the cat's like, I ain't getting no pussy. I don't got time for this. I'm gonna go do cat things. It sucks. It was shitty, and it's their fault for fucking using the name and giving you the premise of what the story was gonna be. What did you think fans was gonna like? Again, you thought it was gonna be like, oh, this is gonna suck. You wanted your fans not to think highly. You wanted them to come in there knowing it was gonna suck. Like, what do you think?
The too high of expectations is such an awful excuse.
It is an extremely awful excuse.
Awful excuse because we're coming ever since Infinity War and Endgame. We're talking about billion-dollar movie franchises with huge amounts of hype.
Yep.
You should just
deliver.
You should just know that there is going to be a high expectation.
Yeah.
Moving forward, that's the bar. You don't go back down.
You don't.
You have to elevate. You have to go up from there.
Yeah.
That's the new bar.
Yep.
But
you
just thought you could sneak some bullshit under the radar and we wouldn't notice?
Exactly. Come on, son.
And then try to blame us that we expected too much coming from the same studio that just gave us Infinity War and Endgame? We're the ones to blame for wanting good content?
Exactly. Damn us. The fuck wrong with us for wanting good content after, you just said, Infinity War and Endgame? What is wrong with us? Man, we should have lowered that bar.
Yeah.
Should have these movies are going to be trash, man. It's good. It's going to be garbage. If it's anything good, hey, it was a win. No, fuck that. Like you said, man, the bar was set there. You don't go lower. Unfortunately, you set the bar too high for y'all to actually be able to deliver. That's y'all problem. You should be looking in the mirror saying, damn, we didn't do good. We fucked up.
Yeah.
The one thing I've always loved, it was Disco Inferno, another wrestling guy. He went into when he was in the WCW not board of directors, but when he was part of the writing team, he would always say when the ratings come in and it wasn't good, he never once looked at the fans. He looked at himself and they was like, man, what did we do wrong? Mm-hmm. How do we fix this and get this shit rolling again? We messed up. It was never the fans had high expectations or the fans of this or that. No, it was we didn't put out a good enough product. Right. And that's what they didn't watch. That's why they didn't like it. And that's what's happening now. We're not getting good products. We're getting trash or okay at best products. That's just not what it should be.
Right. For sure. I'm with you. Vinyl says it's BS. The final episode was horrendous. Secret Invasion, and people complained that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. needed more of the main characters. Now they have the characters, but the story is so boring. Yep.
And again,
I mean, it's on both sides too. It's not just the Marvel side, DC.
No,
I mean,
of course,
there's people talking about how Warner Brothers is just such a cutthroat operation that.
Oh yeah.
And they're not making. They're not really out for. What the fans want at all. They're out for what they want. The executives. So yeah, I mean it's just
and that's what's so funny about it. And again, it even goes back to that stupid dumb fucking bitch who was pissed off because the fans and stuff wanted The Witcher to be the way it was supposed to fucking be. These guys wanted to be their own shit, and then they get angry and mad when the fans don't like it.
Yeah.
Or if the fans critique them in any type of way. What the hell? What do we know? Oh, we've just been reading and consuming the content before your ass even thought about even doing it because you're just trying to make money. We've actually been reading, watching this stuff, consuming it for years, studying it, loving it, knowing how it should be and what it should strive to be. We have an idea. Of course, we're not sitting here saying you got to listen to every damn fan's point of view and idea, but at least listen to us and at least have an understanding of maybe we shouldn't change everything about the damn original shit and then have no real creative ideas. It shouldn't just be what we like. It should be what they like. We're trying to get them to enjoy it, not just what we like.
Right.
But they don't get that shit.
Yeah, no. Vinyl says, Santa, did you notice when you said Disco Inferno, James thought of something different and reminisced for a moment of his days back in the 80s?
Did he casually Drake's?
That's hilarious.
Did you think back of the 80s?
Yeah, I was back. When cocaine was really cocaine, and you didn't have to worry about fentanyl shit. You didn't have to worry about that fentanyl shit.
You had the fro and everything.
Everyone had the afro going. Roller skates with Superman.
Yep.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Them tight leather pants was a big.
All colorful and shit, right? Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
orange,
absolutely,
sparkly.
Yeah. I was actually I would hang out with Freddie Mercury all the time. Me and old Freddie boy. Chilling.
Freddie Mercury, man, I can't wait for him to show up in fucking what is that shit called again? Invincibles. I can't wait for him to show up there.
Oh Lord, dude, I can't wait for Invincible. Period.
I know. Right?
We still gotta wait months for that.
I know, right?
It's ridiculous.
God, I can't wait, man.
All right, one more talking point.
Mm-hmm.
One more talking point, basically on the DC side now. Superman Legacy is pretty much going to be, I think, and I say on the DC side, but this could apply for everything. So I think Superman Legacy, I feel, is pretty much going to be a make or break movie for comic book movies, period.
Now, I did say it would be a make or break for DC.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be overall?
I think that this movie I think that it's going to have that type of pressure. And if James Gunn isn't treating it that seriously, then he's delusional. Because here's the thing. We're coming off of how many box office flops? Not only on DC, but also on Marvel.
Because Ant-Man didn't live up to what they wanted. It was supposed to. There's a bunch of different Marvel movies that didn't deliver neither. Yeah.
100%.
And flopped financially because of what the quota was supposed to be. They flopped too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Financial-wise, streaming-wise.
Fan-wise, all of it.
Everything. I mean, Flash flopped.
Yep.
Blue Beetle, which is still getting good reviews, financially flopped.
Struggling.
We're talking about a bunch, like the last, I'd say 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Superhero movies, and a part of it, yes, is oversaturation and superhero movie fatigue.
Yeah,
we're getting a little tired of
it. Having that Disney Plus stuff and all those different shows does not help.
Right. But I honestly think that if Superman Legacy goes down, that it's almost like it's gonna be a wrap.
So do you think studios are going to kind of either slow down, or is it going to be like a slow death, or is it just going to be the complete nail in the coffin where they say, you know what, this ain't working? We're going to go kind of back to what it was in the olden days where you're not really getting much superhero stuff at all.
I think the latter. I think it's going to be like a slow down and which I mean, I don't know, could be a good thing, but because I mean, how often are you going? Like, if you were a businessman,
Yes.
you had, let's say, Chris, aka Black Santa, has $1 billion,
Yes.
and you are making superhero movies,
Mm-hmm.
and the last 7 out of 10 have not generated you any money. As a business person,
Yes.
are you going to continue making superhero movies?
No, I'm not. I'm going to move on to what's going
that
to
simple.
Get me the next thing. It's that simple. Now, I agree with you on that. Yeah, it is that simple. Because it gets to a point where it's like, again, enough's enough. This is not working, and I need to correct this, or I'm going to fucking lose my money.
Right.
No,
right.
I agree with you.
And I mean, there are issues with if you look at Disney, or if you look at Warner, or if you look at whatever, there are issues obviously within the company. But just overall, as like a CEO, if I'm looking at like, why am I bleeding money? Like, why? Just stop it. I would tourniquet that shit. Maybe we can revisit it later. Yeah. But as of right now, why am I going to continue putting out superhero movies, spending $400-500 million on a movie for it to come back with less than $100 million in the box office? That's stupid. Like, what? Why? Oh yeah, let me sign on for another one. Let me lose another $400 million.
Let's keep this party going.
No problem. What? A superhero that nobody's ever heard of? Excellent idea. Exactly. Let's just go ahead and push that shit through.
Yeah, you gonna give us that money. Yeah. So,
yeah, I think.
We
honestly,
all gonna be going to the theater to see fucking Hawk Girl. Hell yeah.
If Superman can't bring people to the theaters,
I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
I know what
this
you
is
mean.
Not a this is not a character like Blue Beetle. Like, I can understand why.
I can understand that not doing well. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand it ending with $140 million in the box office, and like that kind of being it. Even if it gets good reviews and does excellently with streaming sales or
there's
whatever,
gonna be people sitting there saying, "Blue Beetle, who?"
Yes, but if you can't bring them out for Superman, I don't know, man.
I agree with you on, and yeah, I understand that, because I mean, it's like you said, and that can also even be equivalent to how sports even work. If you ain't performing, the team's going to cut you. Mm-hmm. They're not going to keep paying you to not get the damn job done, and that's what it comes down to. This you're not going to keep giving a guy all this money to go out there and miss the big shots, to go out there and commit the turnovers, not to get the touchdowns, not to do this, not to hit the baseball, not to kick the I was gonna say soccer, but to all the football, not to do any of that shit. You're not going to keep paying them. It's the same thing here. You're not going to keep putting the money into these giant movies, and it's a giant budget. If you want that shit to look all cool and stuff and have all these great fight scenes and all this crazy stuff happening, you know how much money that costs? It's a lot of money being put in.
Yeah.
And they're not going to put all that stuff in just for it to come back and not perform very well. For them to not even, they're waiting so long just to break even?
Yeah. No.
You're going to low. At best, you're going a couple of 100,000 over the budget. Nah.
I mean, look at it like I'm cutting shows just like me on a very smaller scale. I'm cutting shows out of my circuit that don't perform the first time. Not 7 out of 10. The first time it's out. So, I mean, that's just the way you got to look at it. Yeah, Vinyl Dragon says, yeah, but what else are they going to put out that could possibly equal big money? I mean, look, Barbie, fucking $1 billion movie.
Super Mario
$1 billion
movie.
$1 billion movie. So
these video games, these toys, there's lots of stuff you can still put out. Remember, we had tons of movies coming out before the superhero era hit.
Yeah.
That was still doing well, and movie theaters was still fine. There's tons of horror movies. There's always horror movies. There's tons of stuff they can go through and say, we're just going to try something else. Superhero movies are not the end all be all whatsoever.
Other action movies. There was that action
movies. I think there's another damn Expendable coming out. Like all the Fast and the Furious movies.
I mean, like, even if you don't look at that. Well, yeah, John Wick still did very well. But even if you don't look at like sequels and stuff, the Russo brothers put out that movie on Netflix, like the Netflix exclusive. That was the #1 movie on Netflix for like over 30 weeks. 30 weeks of being the number, and it was a great movie. I think it was called The Gray Man. It had Chris Evans, Captain America, as the bad guy against was it Ryan Gosling? I think that was in it too. Either way, it was a great movie. I watched it twice, and like it held my attention. It was an excellent action movie, and I think that if they had put it in theaters, it would have fucking annihilated all of its competition. So there are still good movie ideas out there. Blah blah blah. It's just
going to
for a period of time there, all that was selling was superhero movies. So all these studios were like, let's not take big chances on other things. But now superhero movies not selling, they're going to be like, let's take some chances on other things. And you know that's why we're getting Barbie fucking. Who saw Barbie being $1 billion movie, bro? I thought it was going to do well. I didn't think it was going to do $1 billion.
Yeah.
I didn't think Mario was going to do $1 billion. I thought it was going to do well. I didn't think it was going to do $1 billion. So now they're like, oh, these unconventional things that we're putting out, somewhat familiar, but not like familiar. Not that familiar. We don't have a real recipe for what we're doing here. Are all of a sudden hitting these huge numbers because it's different and it's getting people out to go see it.
Because it's like the name value is huge. Because Super Mario is huge. I mean, it's still the #1. You can look at it as the #1 overall video game period. It's still the highest selling overall video game period. Super Mario franchise. Bingo. Cool. Barbie. Big toys. Little girls to this day still play with the shit. Huge. Cool.
Yes.
But like you said, the style of turning those into movies and putting them into not like straight to DVD little kid shit, but putting them into actual movie theaters, that kind of formula, that's unheard of. It's unconventional, like you said. So, and the fact that it did gangbusters, I mean, it's like, shit, man, yeah. Like there's tons of other stuff you can do and try that's not a motherfucker in a superhero cape. That's not all that crap. It's tons of things you can try, and I'm starting to get with you on that. Overall, this could really be because, like I said, the whole time I was saying it'll be DC's fall. Nah, you're probably right. It could be the overall fall.
So
if this does Blue Beetle type numbers,
let's see, top box office. This can't be that. I feel like this list is not updated correctly. 2023 worldwide box office. Okay. Worldwide box office for 2023 so far. #1, Super Mario Brothers at 1.3 billion. #2, Barbie at 1.3 billion. #3, Guardians. Okay. So there you go. Guardians still killed it, but guess where James Gunn just went? To DC. Yeah. So we'll see if he can bring that audience over. But I didn't go see Guardians in theaters. I waited till that shit came out on Disney.
Right.
Just saying. I'm just saying. It was a good movie. I still can't believe they did a lot like that, but it's all good. #4, Oppenheimer. So not a superhero movie again. That pretty much an original movie based off of history. #5, Fast 10 or Fast X, whatever you want to call it.
Of course, they're gonna always be there.
Yeah.
I don't know how or why, but they are. I know why, but they are.
#6, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Still haven't seen that one. Have you? Have you seen that one?
No. Actually, no. I still have not seen it either. No, actually, no.
Still waiting for that one to hit any of the things that I follow. #7, The Little Mermaid remake. And we're at 569. Nice. 569 million is worldwide box office for Little Mermaid. #8, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning at half
And
a
you
billion.
know there was another Mission Impossible movie that came out this year.
I didn't see that one either. I was just kind of waiting. I like the Mission Impossible ever since whatever the Ghost Protocol one was, where they put Simon Pegg in, and I don't know. It became they definitely changed from like what they were doing with the first 2 or 3, and then like they added, obviously added some humor, added whatever bigger stunts. Tom Cruise doing all his crazy shit, hanging off the side of a plane, for example, or off the side of a building, etc. But yeah, I'll probably watch it once it hits something for streaming. I've not disliked the Mission Impossible, but it is another sequel, so I don't know how you want to count that one. Number 9 was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. We're a big drop down to 470 million worldwide. And number 10 was the Disney Pixar Elemental at 470 million.
Yeah. So the only superhero one that really actually put in the work was
Guardians, yes, put in some work. Ant-Man had more than I thought. I honestly didn't think that.
But
Ant-Man
it still didn't
well.
meet its quota, though. They came out and said it didn't do its job, so I'm not even going to count that.
But then if you're looking at the next few, I mean, you don't get another superhero movie until Turtles. Turtles is the next one at number 22.
See, like, and again, what's so sad about it, the formula is there. Like, Guardian is the outlier to it, but the actual formula is there. Stop bringing up these, like, fucking superheroes that no one really knows like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's been their biggest issue. It's a bunch of people who is just it's not your top guys. You need to be using your top guys. And when you're not doing that, you're not going to get the people in. Like, you telling me if they're like, yo, we got an X-Men movie coming out, you don't think that's going to do well?
Of course.
Obviously, if it's a Spider-Man movie, that's going to do well.
Of course.
When you're using your
as
top
we saw
guys,
with Spider-Man.
Spider-Man always does well because he's a top guy. Like, you use your top guy. Did you, like, no offense, again, I like the Shang-Chi movie and I like Shang-Chi, but it's still not a top hitter. It's not one of the guys you need to be putting out there promoting like that. Like, it's gonna bring you in like all this crazy money. Like Guardians, again, that got lucky and that did pretty well. But like you said, now James Gunn is gone. He's with Superman, so this should do better.
If Superman doesn't beat Guardians, that's gonna be the threshold. Then I think Superman has to beat Guardians.
Yeah,
because Superman is such a much more
if it doesn't.
Worldwide recognizable since 1940. Superman.
Yes. You have players in the NFL who score touchdowns, and what do? The Superman shit.
I just seen it this last week in preseason. They still doing that shit. Cam made it famous. They still do it. Yeah, that Superman.
NBA players that hit a 3, they'll do it sometime. Like, there's other athletes who do it.
Here he is.
Main event Rob.
Main event Rob is in the house for the closer, and he says, "But Aquaman made $1 billion."
James doesn't like Aquaman.
The other night, I was having some trouble falling asleep. Put on Aquaman, worked like a fucking charm, dude. I made it a little bit further than I did the first time, but I was out, bro.
A little bit further the first time. The sad thing is he's not even making a joke here. He's being dead serious.
I am being dead serious. I made it to the part where I guess the guy who becomes Black Manta, he was there. I hadn't seen him yet, so I knew I made it further. I made it further. And I was like, and then I was gone. I was like, that worked perfectly.
My life.
Bro, I woke up so refreshed. I felt like I slept for a day.
But at the end of the day, your tribal Santa acknowledges main event Rob to acknowledge me as his tribal chant Santa. But I love main event Rob. Good to have him here. But he understands to acknowledge me, though. But either way, no, you need to stop disrespecting Aquaman like
that. I was about to say, I got the best sleep I got since I watched The Godfather.
Bro, oh my God, yeah. Yeah, you stop that. Yeah, the disrespect to these great old ass movies, but great movies. You need to stop that disrespect, man. Those are classics right there. But you know what? To be fair though, you haven't disrespected Scarface, so we cool. We cool. Because I do like Scarface.
Scarface is all right. I mean, all those movies, I feel like it's just the same movie to me. Scarface, Godfather, what's the other one? The one by Scorsese. Shit, now I can't. Oh, Goodfellas. They all have that same feel. I mean, they all came out from around the same time too. And,
yeah, it's all about that mafia type.
Yeah.
Very similar feel.
Yeah. There's a dude on either Instagram or TikTok and just uploads to Instagram too. But he lives in New York, and he'll just film people walking past him on the street, and he'll be like, "Don't ever disrespect me doing whatever." Like he'll just like kind of roast them or like say what they look like. I need to send you one of those because every time I see it, I think of you, and I'm just like, this shit is so fucking funny. Like, don't ever disrespect me looking like a real life Peter Griffin walking down the street or something. Like, it's just like whatever they're wearing and shit. Like,
gorilla looking muff. Yeah, I know. I can get behind it.
This shit. Oh my god, it's so funny because like half the time they don't even look at the guy because obviously you're in New York, you don't pay attention to.
No, because you see stuff like that all the time. Honestly, it's not like it's like super rare in New York, but yeah.
And then the other half they will, and they'll usually laugh at it, like they laugh at themselves about it. But the guy is so funny because he's just so spot on, and he like comes up with it as they're walking. So like he's just so quick with it. So I gotta send you that shit whenever I see it next. Oh Lord! All right, well I think that's gonna be it for this week. We appreciate. It's not going to be it.
Okay. Because I want to bring up really quickly after watching the first. It was the first. I think definitely the first full season of Tokyo Ghoul, and probably like almost done with the second season, but the first like 3 or 4 seasons of fucking Sword Art. It's very interesting when I compare the manga to the anime. Especially at least with Sword Art. With Tokyo Ghoul, I'm still going to watch a little bit more. But I will say, as of right now, after watching the first season, kind of getting into the second one now, I understand the hate where they're like, man, in the manga, this is more detailed. Like, for instance, Kaneki's like torture scene is way more like, not just necessarily detailed, but way more like personal in a way. And it's different from how the anime is. I will say this. I don't agree with the hate as of right now. I'm enjoying the anime. And a lot of people's like, oh, it's the worst thing in the world. I fucking hate the anime. I don't. I'm enjoying it. I understand that one of the big gripes is because like, when Kaneki first gets his ghoul powers, the girl who he wanted to date, and they go out on this little date, and then she's just like, yeah, I'm going to kill you and eat you. And he's like, wait, what? And she starts taking a bite out of him and shit. She dies, and then like they mix her organs with his organs to save his life. And in the anime, she shows up a whole lot more in his memories and his dreams and stuff to get him to do bad things. Basically like that voice in your head telling you, you need to do this and like let me loose, let me take care of shit for you. Yes, that happens a lot more in the anime does in the manga. That is definitely a difference. But again, I'm enjoying it. What was interesting in Sword Art is a particular scene, a particular part here. So I guess spoilers, but this anime been us like 2010. There's a part where him and his sister, the relationship between him and his sister is different. It's not his actual like blood sister. And I could have sworn in the manga it might be his cousin, but he knew from the get-go that it wasn't his actual sister, and she finds out later on that they're not like brother and sister. But she has like romantic feelings for him. But she's trying to like, this is wrong. This is a family member, blah, blah, blah. In the anime, I don't even think they're actually family at all. I think they're just like, basically like she got adopted in basically. But in the manga, one of the huge differences in their relationship. She bullied him so hard and so heavy that a perfect scene is in the anime. She gets excited when she sees him while she's eating a muffin and she chokes on it. And he's about to die, and he passes over her drink, so she drinks and she doesn't die, and they continue on as normal. In the manga, she bullied him so much they're sitting down and she starts choking on the muffin or whatever. And he sits there and she's literally about to die. And he's like, I should just let you die. Like she bullied him so much. He's like, I should just fucking like, he has no problem watching her die, but he does change his mind right before she's like passes out, and he passes her to shit and she lives or whatever. And then she goes straight back into bullying him afterwards. That doesn't happen in the anime. Their relationship is totally different. But the grand scheme of it is the same in the sense of her feelings for him is still strong, and she really snaps when they're starting to build a better relationship. Anime and manga the same. And when he brings him over to Asuna, who is like his current girl, his actual girlfriend, when he brings her to the hospital and she sees how much he cares and he's willing to fight for Asuna, it breaks her down, and she breaks down and she starts to like get angry and she cries and she really goes into like a somewhat of a mental break. And the big difference is, to really break it down easier, in the manga, she was unfortunately sexually abused by like their uncle or whatever, or uncle or grandfather, who basically, who was taking care of them. Jeez. In the anime, that doesn't happen. That never happened. But in the manga, it did happen. And that was her biggest issue. Like, you didn't fight for me as much as you're fighting for her. He didn't know fully that was happening, but she did take on a burden of like becoming like this really big like martial arts trainer or whatever, like expert or whatever, because she kept the training going when he didn't want to. So she trained twice as hard for him. Her whole thing was, you didn't fight for me like you're fighting for this girl who you just met a year ago, basically. And that was a huge difference. But the premises was the same. Like, I'm seeing that difference, and I am enjoying that. And to be fair, they didn't have to go down that same plot line in the anime. You don't have to go down that. But I am seeing the differences between each one. And it is interesting to see that kind of stuff. I do enjoy seeing that. So I'm having fun watching Sword Art again and really actually watching it. I'm really having fun. That's pretty much the premise of both of them. I'm enjoying both.
Good. All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Differences between. Obviously, there's always going to be a couple differences between the manga and the anime. But good. I'm glad that you're enjoying and not hating.
No, I'm happy too, because I didn't know if I was really gonna enjoy Sword Art Online as much as I have been. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy this as much, but I've really been enjoying. Like, I kid you not, I would like go through like, I think I literally went through like the whole like second season, and that's 28 episodes. I watched like straight through all 28 episodes. I was like, this is fun.
Nice.
This is fucking fun. So yeah, like my free time has been like kind of watching that. So I've been enjoying that.
All right. Well, there you go. All right, everybody. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Hit that like button for us if you could. Smash it, mash it. Subscribe if you haven't already. All that usual shenanigans. We'll be back here next.
One last thing. One quickly last thing. Tell somebody that you care about, that you love them, because you never know what can happen. You never know who you might lose or what can go down. But if you have an issue with somebody you love that you know deep down ain't that serious, be the bigger person and squash it. Tell them you love them. Get it dealt with, because you never know what can happen the next day. You really never know. That's it.
Some deep messages going on here.
Just a little bit.
I love it. Okay. All right. There you go. Well, as always, we go from deep messages to our sign-offs. As always, stay villainous and
fuck the Fantastic Four.
But tell them you